welcome back to Tunisian National News. I'm Jenna and I'll be your reporter for today. Today we're going to be talking about what happened during the devastating Tunisian Revolution. It has been an intensive campaign of civil resistance, building a series of street demonstrations taking place here in Tunisia. As a result, it led to the ousting of longtime President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali. The revolution went on from December 18, 2010 till January 14, 2011. Here on the screen, we can see a timeline of the events during the revolution. In order to help us understand more about the revolution, we have a special guest, Dima, who is currently in Tunisia and has actually gone through the revolution during its times. Hi Dima, it looks like you're doing great this afternoon. We want to know what started the revolution and what caused suicide victim Mohamed Bouazizi to do what he did.
Yes, thankfully I'm doing great, and I hope that the other people who had been through that are doing just as well. Now, going back to your question, the revolution is known to have started with the tragic death of Mohamed Bouazizi, who was a 26-year-old fruit and vegetable vendor. He committed suicide by setting himself on fire in front of the local Tunisian municipal office after being mistreated by a police officer who slapped Bouazizi after he refused to hand over his cart.
Wow, that must have been really tragic. So is that the reason behind why people started to protest?
Yes, indeed, it was a great contributing factor as to why people started to protest.
Where exactly in Tunisia did the revolution take place?
The protest first took place in the rural town of Sidi Bouazizi, but when the news spread out, people all over the country of Tunisia started to protest, and that was what initially triggered the revolution.
Interesting. What are the people of Tunisia rebelling against?
The priorities were to overcome poverty, price inflation, and the interim president Zine El Abidine wasn't providing much at all for the country, and the people wanted to overthrow him because he wasn't taking the needs of the people into consideration, as well as the fact that the government wasn't treating the citizens well or giving them their rights.
That's very neat. Speaking economic and government-wise, I would also like to know what happened after the revolution in Tunisia and to the citizens of Tunisia.
After the revolution, Tunisia's new freedom was on display everywhere, at newsstands, even at the library. I would see people gathering on the wide pavements, some talking about political parties and others discussing about whether the former president should made to return or stand trial. Overall, everyone just being generally happy that it was over.
That's great. I'm glad Tunisia is finally free. Can you tell us about the two perspectives on the revolution and what values and beliefs people wanted to change?
Sure thing. The first perspective on the revolution comes from the privileged who benefit from the president when he is in power, since he provided them with jobs and guaranteed wealth. The other perspective derives from the people who saw him more as a dictator as opposed to a president, and that included most of the population, because there wasn't many opportunities for employment in the country and the people were suffering. The community wanted to see equality, and to do that they wanted a democratic government where they are allowed to vote.
On that note, what do you think were the main contributors to the Tunisian revolution?
The rebellion of the people was able to change Tunisia from a dictatorship to a democratic country.
So from what I've gathered from our lovely guest, it seems that the Tunisian Revolution has a lot in common with the French Revolution. They both didn't end up achieving what they set out for. And for Tunisia, it is that they do not have a stabilized government yet. And France ended up having an emperor instead of a democracy.
Yes, I completely agree with you, Jenna, but I do believe that they did also have their differences, in which thankfully the Tunisian Revolution didn't experience loss of many lives and as well as a lot of debt after the war, unlike France, which really suffered financially, especially after the revolution.
Great! I want to thank Dima so much for being here today and for helping us find out and learn more and build our sense of awareness about the Tunisian Revolution.
Thank you, Jenna.
This is all for today's news segment coming to you from Tunisian National News. Thank you for watching and we'll see you next time.